Garner's loading her slides, I'll let Dr. Garner introduce our first guest, if that's okay, Doc.
Yes, Dr. Garner is the Senior Lecturer and Student Support Lead at Edgehill University. Edgehill is one of the newer medical schools here in the Northwest where we're based. Again, an excellent medical school, an excellent choice to study. And Dr. Garner is going to talk about contextual offers and widening participation, which has been the focus of this conference all the way through. And so we've asked Dr. Garner just to talk a little bit about that and how Edgehill looks at how to offer contextual offers and what is the meaning of widening participation.
Thank you so much. It's a really kind introduction, and thank you for the invitation to speak today. It's a pleasure to be here and to see you all. My name is Dr. Jayne Garner, and amongst my roles, we're a small medical school at Edgehill. So I'm a senior lecturer, I'm also our student support lead, and I manage our Widening Access to Medicine programme. And so I'm going to talk about a little bit about all of those things in the half-hour slot that I have today. But I'm going to start off specifically around contextual offers. And so contextual offers, I would say in medicine, there was a report in 2014 called Selecting for Excellence. And there was a general concern that perhaps certainly medicine was not representative of the general population in terms of the background of doctors. So there was often more men from white ethnic backgrounds, also who have had some educational advantages, possibly from selective or private schools. And so the report Selecting for Excellence was, looking to redress some of this and ensure that students from a wide range of backgrounds had the opportunity to study medicine. So contextual offers came out of this agenda as well. And basically, the idea in contextual offers is that a university will consider your wider circumstances, so not just the school that you're from or maybe your predicted grades. They will take into consideration other aspects of your background that might disadvantage you in some ways, but they will count this and consider you accordingly. So it's a bit of a difficult one to pitch because I'm gonna look in the next slide at some of the contextual criteria, but it really varies across medical schools, and some medical schools don't have contextual offers and don't consider this kind of criteria. There is a lot of information available on Medical Schools Council website and also resources.
Dr. Garner, apologies for interrupting. Can you make your PowerPoint slideshow rather than showing?
Sorry. I'm afraid you're with a bit of a...
Some of the students may be watching on a mobile or a tablet and it gets...
No problem. Can you see that better now? Is that okay?
That's really fantastic now, yeah.
Oh, fantastic, good. So you haven't missed too much in terms of the slides. So contextual offers again, just around the university is considering your wider criteria. And if you meet the criteria, you can be accepted onto a course, sometimes with lower entry requirements and those that would usually be required. Or sometimes the entry requirements will remain the same, but your application will be prioritised because you've fulfilled these criteria around things like widening participation. And again, I'll come to those in due course. So some medical schools also have outreach programmes and also gateway or foundation year programmes, which makes reduced offers to students as well. So that's something that I'm going to talk about, but that's generally what contextual offers are about. And so some criteria, and again, every medical school will be different in terms of what they consider, but generally that some of these are included. So you've had your education hindered by personal, social or domestic circumstances that are beyond your control, but obviously have impacted upon your schooling. So those will be taken into account. Sometimes if you're entitled to some discretionary payments, it might be free school meals, it might be that you get some kind of bursary, or some schools will consider, your household income as well. They would consider that as something they would base a contextual offer on. If you're applying from an eligible school or college or sixth form, So it could be usually the schools that are included, have a lower than average proportion of students achieving A to C grades at their GCSEs. So it might be that, your local school or college, doesn't have, that there could be other schools with higher performing, better results and things like that. But again, this will be considered in your favour for contextual offers. Disability will be considered if you're a young carer, for instance, you have a responsibility for caring for someone in your family, that will be taken into consideration. Similarly, if you have been separated or estranged from your family, that would be something that might crop up in this criteria. If you spent time in local authority care or you're a care leaver, again, that will give weighting to your application. If you're a refugee, or there are some criteria around different groups from BAME backgrounds, it could be something like that will be considered. If you're the first in your family to go to university, that would be considered. And also, if you live in an area with less advantaged socio-economic characteristics, this is usually, and the university websites will have, it's usually ACORN or Polar Index. If you put your postcode in there, they will tell you if they will consider that for, the widening participation or contextual offer criteria they have. So these are just some of the areas that, that might apply to you. And as I say, it's different for different medical schools. But if some of these issues, or this is a situation that you are in, please do check out, because it might make a difference to your application, or it might be considered differently because of these reasons. I'm going to talk on a little bit about Edge Hill now. So as Dr. Khan said, we're a new medical school at Edge Hill. And Edge Hill traditionally was originally a teacher training college. We're located in the northwest of England, so we're in Ormskirk. We're about half an hour on the train from Liverpool, and also there's train routes to Manchester as well. And so Edge Hill has quite an established range of health and social care courses at undergraduate level. So you can see we've got nursing, midwifery, paramedic practice, operating department practitioner, social work, applied and health and social care as well. So when there was a call from government in 2017 offering more medical school places, we actually did bid for these and were successful. So we started our Mbchb Foundation Year for Medicine in 2019. And our direct entry Mbchb programme started last September in 2020. So we are a new medical school, and we have a new curriculum as well. As we are aligned with the General Medical Council, we have our contingency medical school arrangement with Liverpool University. And so they oversee and guide us, because we're new in terms of delivery as well. And we're also regularly inspected by the GMC, just to make sure what we're delivering is up to standard and meets all their requirements as well. So in terms of entry requirements and contextual decisions at Edge Hill, and we do specify that you sit the UCAT. Unlike a lot of other medical schools, because we're new, we haven't quite got a level of UCAT, so we don't have a published sort of score of UCAT that we will accept. I know a lot of universities do, but this is something that we are going to develop in due course, I think, as we get more experience. So we don't have a published criteria at the moment. I think it's only a 4 in the situational judgment test that we would not consider. We do require that you have at least 5 GCSEs at grade B or 6 or above at the time of application. We do consider resits. I know that is something that's come up in the chat bar today, but yeah, we definitely would consider that. And we would also, for GCSE, we would sort of consider double science awards as well. And we do insist, though, biology, chemistry, English language and mathematics as well. So that gives you an idea about our GCSE criteria. So we do have our Mbchb with foundation year. So this is a 6-year programme, and basically with the foundation year we accept lower grades at entry. So we will accept 3 grade Bs, including biology and chemistry. And some of the WP criteria that I talked about in the last slide would apply. So if any of those apply to you, please do look at on our website. As I say, most university websites will have the WP criteria listed for their contextual offers. Our foundation year, I'll talk about in a bit more detail, but essentially, if you're on the foundation year program and you pass that first year for foundation, you are automatically transferred onto the Mbchb program. And so you wouldn't need to sit the UCAT again, you wouldn't have to do another MMI or anything like that. For the Mbchb, it's 3 A levels, a grade A, including biology, chemistry. For both the foundation year and the Mbchb, we would consider the 3rd A level. This can be, we're really flexible on it. So geography, sociology, history, French, it doesn't have to be like maths or, or physics. It doesn't have to be a science subject. We think it's good if you have a wide range of sort of academic experience and knowledge. So we welcome a 3rd A level from another discipline. And we actually make contextual decisions at the initial stage. So when applications come in from UCAS, we can see the UCAT score. And we do adjust this as well. So if students do meet the WP criteria, and this is for, obviously for foundation, that is part of it, for Mbchb entry as well, we will adjust the UCAT score. So weighting would mean that you were more likely to get an interview at that stage as well. Again, it depends year on year with the UCAT, how the scores sort of line up and on our threshold for that. But certainly, we welcome applications from WP applicants. And Edge Hill traditionally, we have, I think it's about 70% of our students are from defined WP backgrounds, across the institution. So we're very much set up and geared towards, sort of a wide range of students from diverse backgrounds. We're really in with that agenda. So just a little bit more about our foundation year with medicine, our aims. So the aims overall of the programme are to equip students with the skills and knowledge and understanding to prepare them for the 5 years on the medicine programme. And as such, we have, I think it's 6 main topic areas, including bioscience, health systems, public health and local healthcare needs. And we have a big emphasis on clinical and community learning as well. So, we do have what we call sort of our clinical experiences. We don't call them placements in the foundation year or the first year of the Mbchb, because we're not assessing you on anything. We put you in sort of different environments so you can learn more about how healthcare is delivered, how people access different ranges of healthcare in community settings as well. And it's also an opportunity on the foundation year to develop personally and professionally and to build up your confidence and resilience. So when you start the Mbchb programme, you're fully supported for that transition and ready to go. And certainly some of the students on our current foundation year programme have said they weren't quite ready for the full Mbchb programme. They needed that year to sort of work on confidence, on other academic skills, study skills, those kind of issues as well before they went on to the Mbchb. So that tends to work well for the students on foundation year programme. This is just to give you an idea about the tour element of foundation year. So there was teaching 3 days a week in foundation year, and the other 2 days are for self-study. So currently it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you can see from this session, so on the Tuesday it's body systems, types of tissue. This is actual timetable from the first week, the fundamentals week in foundation year. Some public health introductions, and then personal professional development, moving on to communication skills, absolutely key, and introduction to long-term conditions. So foundation year it's reduced hours, as I sort of say, an opportunity to settle into university life as well and prepare you fully for going on to the Mbchb programme. And the Mbchb itself, 5-year programme. And so our main aims are ensuring that graduates have the necessary skills, knowledge and attitudes to practice medicine. And obviously a big emphasis, as all medical schools have, on professional manners and competency. We ensure that graduates can effectively respond to diverse health needs of individuals and populations. And so when I said about Edge Hill, we have a wide range of other subjects, from paramedics or nutritionists or social workers. And we do structure our learning so you do come into contact and learn with these other students as well, because you're going to be working with them in practice, and it's really important for you to understand those roles. It's better patient outcomes, I think, if there's more teamwork and interdisciplinary learning and working. So big emphasis on that for us. And we also encourage you, obviously, the skills to become lifelong learners, because medicine is always changing. You will need to be adaptable. There will always be new developments that you'll need to be aware of. So we need to prepare you for that as well. And obviously, like all medical schools, we ensure that our graduates meet the outcomes set by the GMC. And we have 16 themes in our curriculum. We have a spiral curriculum, so you will learn about things and then come back and revisit them and increase your learning. And this is very much aligned around your clinical placements, especially. So, safeguarding will be an introduction to safeguarding, say in the first year, and then at second year, third year, as you go on to clinical placements, there'll be more information, more sessions from social workers. Say when you're doing paediatric rotation, we'll give you relevant information about, say, legal responsibilities or safeguarding concerns at those stages. So we build up, in complexity and information that we deliver as we go through the 5 years of the programme. And so it's the main sort of, we've grouped the themes of the curriculum into 3 main areas: the professional values and behaviours, and professional skills, and also professional knowledge as well. So, underpinning sociology, psychology applied to medicine, health promotion, and also clinical research, evidence and scholarship as well. And so just to give you a bit of an idea about how we're structured. Also, we use a case-based, team-based learning hybrid model, and you can see from this timetable here, so this is in the first year of the programme, about the kind of things you'll be doing. So a team-based learning, you'll be allocated a case. So you can see on the Monday morning, team-based learning allocation, and the case will be a 19-year-old male student attends his GP seeking advice. His university has forwarded an email from a charity offering cardiac testing to all students. So, you start exploring that case, and the teaching, your clinical skills are all aligned around exploring that together as well. So that is the way we sort of teach, certainly in the first 2 years, the phase 1 of the programme as well. We have a big emphasis on, a work-life balance. And so Wednesday afternoons are your own. So, we encourage you to do sports, to, join societies, do different things as well, to have a break. Really important, to have that work-life balance, and that's something I'll talk about later as well. So we do have early and extensive clinical contact. So from the first year, you will be out on clinical experiences. Again, we don't assess clinical aspects of these, it's for your own learning. So it could be, from a pharmacy to a food bank, you could be placed in a voluntary organisation. Again, so you understand about how primary care is accessed and delivered in a range of settings. It's interprofessional learning. We have our clinical skills and simulation centre and our animatage tables, some really high-tech kit there as well to support your learning. We have a wide range of staff from different backgrounds, clinical and other, say from psychologists, nutritionists, bioscientists, really wide range of staff teaching you as well. We've got great support from our local NHS and voluntary organisations. We actually had, when we started, more GPs than we needed offering us placements. So we have more GPs than students, which is a nice position to be in. We do a variety of different teaching, learning and assessment measures as well. So I haven't really got time to go into that now, but we do put a big emphasis on formative assessment. So you'll be able to try something, and you'll get feedback before you have the real assessment, whether it's an exam, a written exam, objective structured clinical examination, an OSCE. So we'll give you that feedback before you do the things for real. We are a small university, the smallest medical school, I think, in the UK. So we have 30 places currently on our Mbchb. And as such, we have a really big emphasis on pastoral support and well-being. And as student support lead, that is definitely one of the things that I'm really big on. And so you can see by this diagram, medical student in the middle. We've got really good support from our student services, so transitions team, our inclusion team. If you have any hidden disabilities or considerations for your, placements for your learning, we'll take those into account and support you with those. Also, we've got great wellbeing and counselling service. You'll be allocated a personal academic tutor at the start of your programme, and they will be with you for the duration of your studies for consistency. So we get to know you, and that person will be there to support you during your journey. And then we have like university services, obviously our occupational health unit, the student union and other things as well. So just on student support, certainly over the last few years, there are more students seeking mental health support, and this has gone up year on year, and I would say accelerated certainly over the last year in particular. And this is important to recognise because medical students have been shown to be more burned out than the rest of the population. And the diagram on the right here is an American study, so measuring levels of burnout and stress compared to the general population. Medical students were scoring much more highly. And I think that's something we really need to be aware of, and we need to be honest about as well, you know, because it's a major consideration. And certainly over the last year, when we've had COVID, you know, huge issues around motivation, around learning, around generalized anxiety, I would sort of say as well. It's a really challenging time for everybody, and it's important that we acknowledge how difficult a year it has been, you know, for you as students, for what you're managing and coping with as well. So just, I think, important to acknowledge, because medicine is, you know, it's an amazing program, it's an amazing career, but it's a really academically heavy workload. You know, it's challenging. You're going to see things on placement. You're going to be dealing with things that are really emotionally draining and difficult and stressful as well. So, you know, I don't want to put a dampener or doom and gloom, but I think it's important we are honest about these things. I just want to say about resilience in you, really. So it's really important. One of my previous students said, you can't look after patients if you can't look after yourself. It's not fair on anybody. It's really important that we make sure that you are okay. So building your resilience, you know, keep trying again. And even the point we were making earlier, just about resets, you know, it's really important. Everyone will fail something at some time, you know, and the best thing you can do is learn from it and come back stronger from it, you know, more focused, and, you know, ensuring that, you know, you learn and you reflect on things as you go along. It's really important to get support when you need it, and I think certainly the students that I work with, and as I say, we've seen it's been a challenging year, and I've seen a lot of students, really strong students, who've just said, I'm just not coping at the moment, I'm not managing well, you know, I feel upset, disengaged, I'm really struggling with lockdown again. And these kind of personal insights, you know, we can signpost to help, but sometimes if we don't know, and it's harder when we're online, you know, to sort of pick up signs that I would see in students if, you know, they were on their own a lot, they were looking to slump, those changes in their personal opinion and appearance, I will pick these things up. I think it's been a lot harder. So really important to recognise when you need support and to reach out and access that as well. And also just remembering that being yourself is your best quality. I know medicine is so competitive and it's really hard. And I think, you know, certainly sometimes I'll read personal statements and, you know, it's just like, it's like a rote statement of things that everyone thinks they should say. But really important that, you know, you are yourself, you know, and you do. I think it's hard work pretending to be someone you're not. So really important that, you know, you remember that as well. So as I'm winding up, my email address, so jayne.garner@edgehill.ac.uk, I'm happy to send out the slides or any information. Some programme information from our Edgehill website there about medicine and the foundation year as well. Also, I haven't said too much about this just because, you know, time is short, but we have certainly, and most medical schools will have, you know, access programs or widening access initiatives. And I know Fiona is here from Liverpool as well, and I know that they have a scholars program there. We have our WAM program, Widening Access to Medicine, 5-day program free for year 12 and 13s locally. We do everything from helping you, you know, with your personal statement, preparing you for UCAT. We do mock MMI interviews as well. And we also offer support and advice through clearing. So please do check out if you're eligible for information on that as well. And finally, we have our medicine taster day running this Thursday. And so it's a lot of pre-recorded resources. So, you know, there's videos and walkthroughs of our clinical skills and simulation centre. And there's presentations about the courses and the programmes, information on ethics. I think there's a session on, you know, some of our some of our own staff talking about their journey into medicine as well, you know, what they've experienced as well. And as part of that, we have a live Q&A session, 4:30 till 5:30 with myself and Ed Horowitz, who's another senior lecturer. Ed's sort of our legal and ethics person, and he's doing his research currently on gender reassignment and children. You know, we're very research active at Edge Hill. And so we also have a foundation year student joining us then. And so that's free. And if you want to register, if you can just Google Edge Hill sort of subject taste a day medicine, then you should be able to access that and sign up. But we'd love to see you there if you want any more information from us as well. So at the end of our slides, as I say, we're really positive about mental health. All of our slides in the medical school end, you know, with signposting to other mental health sources, our wellbeing team as well. As I say, we think it's really important to acknowledge and keep on promoting. You know, we've all got mental health, and sometimes it's better than others. It's just really important to acknowledge that. So that is the end of our slides. So I think I've got a couple of minutes. So I shall stop sharing my screen. Thank you very much for listening. Any questions, or shall I read through all of this?
Okay, Dr. Garner, thanks for an excellent talk on widening participation. It's important to emphasize why widening participation was set up in the first place. You know, looking at some of the comments, you know, it shouldn't be seen as a disadvantage to students that are better off. You know, I can see some comments that were hinting at, well, actually, you know, if I, you know, for example, if I'm in a good school and I get good GCSEs, why is another student being offered lower grades, you know, admission with lower grades than me? The reason this was set up was medicine is still to some extent considered an elitist type of profession. And what's happening is the doctors that we're producing come from a certain background, and then they go into the community where they're seeing patients, treating patients from a completely different background, and there's a mismatch and there's conflict. So really, the doctors that we have should reflect the population of the United Kingdom that we serve. And also, lots of students simply came simply because of no fault of their own, because of where they were born, family circumstances, you know, would want to do medicine, but they can't because of no fault of their own. So this initiative, it hopes to help those students, which I'm sure there's some of you in the chat here, you know, overcome some of the unfair advantages that you have through no fault of your own. So don't please consider this as a bad thing. Dr. Garner, just to, yes, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well, you know, this is to try and level the playing field more than anything else, you know. So if someone has, like, if you've got a school and it's great that, you know, you've got consistent staff, you know, really committed, you know, people you can work with, small class sizes, so you get a lot of one-on-one teaching, you know, and that's great, but not everybody has, you know. So I think it's just like the idea is to just try and make it a little bit more representative generally for other people as well. And certainly students who've had their education disrupted through no fault of their own, you know, it might be that they're in care, you know, they might be, you know, sort of separated from their families for a number of reasons. It's just to try and give them an opportunity as well. And because they will have an understanding, I think, and they will have, you know, their learning could be really important for, you know, certain patient groups, you know, for people that they treat as well. They will have a unique perspective as well. And so, yeah, that's what we're trying to do with this agenda.
There's some specific questions. I think there's a question, can we apply for the 5-year degree and the foundation year?
Yeah, you can put in both. Yeah, it's A110 for foundation year and A100. And I think, I know we've had a couple of people apply, and I think they just sat the one MMI, even if they're applying for both courses.
Right. Okay. Would they then which course would you then allocate them to? I mean, would you say that if they fit the widening participant criteria, they would be given a place on the foundation course?
It would be in discussion, you know. So if you would prefer to go, you know, if you got 3 A's but you still wanted to do the foundation year and the 6-year program, that would be your priority, you know, you could accept that. Yeah. Okay.
And then there's a question here about how does the university actually determine who's a widening participation student?
So we have the criteria. So say it might be a postcode, and we use the polar index. So, we are, I think, we will ask on your application form as well. Obviously, your UCAS form will have some information provided. And so we would also ask for foundation. If there are WP criteria that you meet, you would specify those on your application form as well.
Yeah. And this question is about, is there any preference given to students who live closer to the university? For example,
in the Northwest, for foundation our foundation year program is a Northwest initiative. So that is for direct entry. It can be anywhere in the UK. And your application is just as long as you meet the criteria. But the foundation year with the 3Bs entry, that is for Northwest students.
Yeah. Okay. I think you've covered a lot of the other questions that the students are asking.
No problem. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and interest, and thank you, Dr. Khan, as well.
It's an honour having you, Dr. Garner. It's great to have you here, and thanks for all the useful help that you've given us and all the great work that you're doing in Hedgehill.
No problem.
All right. Thank you.